What's up, guys? Edward here, Old Place Outdoors, and just want to jump back in here and keep talking with you today about mouth calling for turkeys. And previous video that we did, we talked about call placement and the fit, and basically some of the the makeup or the mechanics of the mouth call. So if you hadn't seen that one, I strongly encourage you to go look that one up, because it's definitely one of the fundamental pieces of beginning to use a mouth call. And so today we're going to kind of like jump in and start making some turkey sounds. But before we do that, I want to express that it's very important to understand that with mouth calls and starting out with them, what's important is to find a call that is a good beginner call. And in my opinion, what that is one that doesn't take a lot of air to use. There's a lot of great calls out there when you go to some of these stores, Bass Pro, Cabela's, or even some of your sporting goods stores. You might find 5-6 different brands of call makers out there that have mouth calls on the shelf, and it can be a little bit overwhelming by the time you breaking down the different brands and the different cuts and whatnot. And so understanding, being able to look at the call and knowing, well, this one might be a little bit more advanced. Well, heavier reeds might require a little bit more air. And so all that said, a call that requires very little air will be one with thinner reeds and usually less reeds. Like, I've heard some people recommend a single reed. I wouldn't per se recommend that one. I personally make a 3-reed call, and that is perfect for beginners. It's a great call. I feel like that, you can get it and make turkey sounds within no time with it. But the biggest point being is to understand that the amount of air, because that's really what it is. You want to be able to learn to articulate the air while at the same time dropping your jaw and creating those turkey sounds. So really important piece of it. Sometimes it's going to take experimenting with some calls, but all that said, just look for a call that works for you. So with that though, if you've hunted with me, you talked to me, or you follow any of my other channels, my blog, whatnot, then I often say, focus on the yelp, because that right there is the primary sound that a hen turkey makes. And there's such a spectrum of the yelp that, if that's your benchmark right there. You can do so many things from the yelp. You can go from high to low, aggressive to subtle. So, focusing on that yelp is where I feel like every hunter needs to start. So we're going to break down the yelp a little bit. We're going to talk about how to create the yelp with the mouth call, and talk about some of the science, or not the science, but basically just dissect the sound of the yelp. And so with that, if you've listened to hen turkeys, and I'm sure you've heard them in the woods or listened to them on YouTube and hunting videos, whatnot, but it's more or less, it's a 2-note high to low sound, high to low sound. And the best way that I can really break it down for you is with a box call, before we get going with the mouth call, because I want you to listen to this. If beginning turkey hunters often will start with a box call. And so now if you listen to that, you're like, whatever, that's a pretty sick sounding yelp right there. But I've slowed that down really slow to help you understand that high to low, high to low. Listen to it again. Now I'm going to speed it up a little bit. So that's not a bad yelp right there. You got that yelp at the end of it. So how do we do that with our mouth call though? Well, it's not that much difference, because with the box call, what we're doing is we're taking, as we drag that paddle across the box, we're releasing pressure from the paddle in order to create that lower note. Well, on our mouth call, what we're doing is we need to release pressure off that reed. The way we're going to do that is, I want you to imagine now you got your tongue here, and let's say this is your call and this is your tongue, and your jaw is going to be down here. Well, as our jaw and our tongue drops, then that's going to release that pressure. So looking at the mouth call, and again, going back to how that orientation of it, as I create that first sound, that you want to drop that jaw. And again, you got to condense this now. You got to take the fundamentals of it, or the mechanics of it, and kind of really condense it now. So it's like, really pushing it together. You're almost making, like, as soon as you hit that high, you barely even hit that high note, high to low quick, like high. It like drops off really quick to make that yelp with this, with the mouth call. So you're pushing air across that tongue and dropping that jaw and tongue. Just and that's where you're getting that chop, 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 chop. And it's kind of a choppy yelp sound. So again, with the box call, the yelp, to listen to it. Let that jaw and tongue drop, releasing that pressure. So now when we talk about the way that air should move across the tongue, something I want to mention here is it's kind of like a, that's more or less what you're doing. You're kind of a huffing motion or sound. And the best way I can like really think about it is like, if you've ever had like if you've ever done any trapping, and raccoons will do it sometimes, possums, but they do this hiss, and it's like, so think about that hiss. It's like, so your tongue is sitting here and you're kind of like pushing, you're more or less wanting to create an air channel through that reed and then drop. And that's that yelp right there. Focus on that yelp, and that right there is the benchmark for making turkey sounds. So I want you guys to be working on that, because that is, again, the yelp is the bottom line where it starts with calling turkeys, and you need to master that sound. So I want you to be working on that, and we're going to dive into some other sounds, and probably maybe even dissect the yelp a little bit more over some upcoming videos. But be working on that one, and get ready to start making them gobble, because that yelp is what's going to do it. We're going to throw some cuts in there pretty soon and have you guys calling turkeys in just a couple weeks. So stay tuned.